Hi folks, welcome to my first video tutorial in GameMaker Studio. Essentially, I'm going to rework most of the tutorials that I created for GameMaker 8.1 and demonstrate the same skills for GameMaker Studio, and of course we'll then build on that. The GameMaker Studio interface is a little bit different, so I'll start with my GameMaker interface tutorial, just a little bit of a tour around. So in GameMaker Studio, when you open it up, you'll notice you have a number of options. The welcome screen just shows you existing files you could open right up. Recent files. Open would let you go through your file structure to find a file. New lets you create a new game. Import would let you import a GMZ file to be used in your game. And also worth noting, demos are examples of games made with GameMaker, and tutorials that will guide you through creating a number of different types of games. Okay, good stuff. Okay, oh, and news. News feeds in the news from the GameMaker blog. All right, so I'm going to go back to new, and I'm going to create a new file called maze, and that's just what we'll call it. This is my maze game. Okay, all of the upcoming tutorials will work, or at least the number of them will work through finishing and creating this maze game. So I'm going to create this game, and now it's going to open up GameMaker. Now, right now, the skin that you're seeing, this black and green, is the GameMaker green skin, and there are several skins you can choose. I'm all too used to using GameMaker 8, so my preference is going to be to change my skin to GM8, and I'm going to hit OK. And I believe that I need to save and reopen this to see that skin. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to actually exit out of GameMaker. I'm going to go back into GameMaker. Oops. And here we go. So now, if you see, this is not the correct project. Hang on. I'm going to now open my maze game, which is now using the GameMaker 8 skin, which I'm just a little more comfortable with color-wise and all. Maybe I'll graduate to the newer skins. Anyway, now that we're in GameMaker, this looks a lot like GameMaker 8.1, but there are some differences. To note, in terms of the differences, the target type of file that you want to create, depending on your licensing, will allow you to create games specifically for different environments, okay? And otherwise, the basics that you want to know for now are, we've got this sprites, sounds, backgrounds, paths, scripts, etc. These are the resources that you're going to use in your game, typically. Sprites are essentially the graphics that you're going to use. When you create objects, you're going to essentially identify what sprite the object is identified by, but the object is what you could program, the sprite is just the graphic. Okay, so I talked about sprites and objects. Sounds, you're going to be able to create your own sounds using audio software if you like, or import sounds. You certainly can import WAV and MP3 files. GameMaker, I believe, recommends WAV files in terms of when it comes to using them in your game, but either is acceptable. Backgrounds, you could bring in background images or create your own with the sprite editor. Paths, at some point we'll get into. That's when you create, generally for maybe an enemy character or for something in the game, a predefined path that it takes, and it could repeat, but it gives you some ability to guide a character through the game or use it for other purposes. Scripts, as you get into programming or coding in GameMaker language, you'll be able to store scripts there that you could use with your games. Timelines allow you to basically indicate elements in your game that are going to happen at certain times based on the timeline. And rooms are the playing field where your game takes place. And for now, I'll just also talk about the game information, which is where you would essentially type the information for your players, kind of like the game manual. And many of these items also have a counterpart up here that you could click on an icon to create a sprite, add a sound, paths, that's probably backgrounds, and I think that's objects. Okay, so that kind of gives you a little tour of what the actual environment looks like. When we start creating in the next video, you'll start seeing what we'll be doing in the main window, including seeing the sprites that we're bringing in, programming the objects, and also setting up the rooms. Okay, so stay tuned.